Good morning, Mama OG.
Okay, I have two things to say. What the hell? What the hell, Deontay? I have two things to say. One, I don't know if you guys have heard the saying, it costs a lot to be spiritual, or it costs a lot to work with ancestors, or it costs a lot of money. And that can be true. But like the Thuh healer say, if you follow her, money is the lowest transaction. Money is the lowest form of energy, right? So things can cost, meaning I don't spend a lot of quote unquote money, currency, when it comes to like US dollars on my spiritual tools. And I'll explain in another video. Hold on. When it comes to my spiritual tools that I really like care for and really utilize before I buy anything from the store, I will legitimately go on walks outside. And I'm guessing you guys have done this too. I'm not saying this just to like sun anybody. I'm just saying this as a reminder. So, for example, during the season, if you see banana leaves, I believe they're called banana leaves, but they're falling off the tree right now. And I'm going to do more research as to what they're used for spiritually, but I've always been drawn to them since a little kid. A few weeks, I think a week or two ago, I went outside and I collected them. They're brown, obviously, but they were green, like greenish, yellowish, because in the summer they turn color and they drop and stuff. So yeah, things like that. Like if you feel like if anybody wants to maybe make an altar, if they feel called to and they are permitted to, and you're like, well, I don't know where to start, or I don't want to spend a whole bunch of money, it will still cost you to walk outside. You might get eaten up by mosquitoes. That's a cost. You might, it might be really hot outside. That's a cost. You might get a little dehydrated if you go on a long walk. That's a cost. These are costs. Going out and scavenging for things is still costly, even if you're not going to spend your American dollars. Also, I could literally make a whole freaking 30-minute video on Sage on YouTube. But what I will say about Sage, I've been using it since a kid. Even I have gotten banned from using Sage for like 3-4 years. And I'm not going to address why, but I'm not banned anymore. But that's besides the point. The point is, when it comes to Sage, it was very heavily popularized. And I'm not saying, I don't really believe it's endangered. I think they said they was endangered, but the earth is abundant. 222 on the clock as I speak. The earth is abundant. As long as we're replanting things like that, I'm not like, look, don't listen to me all the way, okay? But I don't think they're extinct. But be cognizant or be aware that the fact of the natives and everything, be respectful. And where you're sourcing your sage, if you're going to use sage. If you're not getting it from a botanica, if you're not getting it from maybe like an elder, local, like make sure it's sourced correctly, because you will kind of pay karmic debts after using it. I'm not saying this to scare anybody. I just want people to be aware of what you guys are doing and when you are getting things like your spiritual tools. So for example, I decided to buy 3 things off of Temu. Oh my gosh. And the thing is, I didn't want to, but I wanted to. I know for a fact that me personally, somebody else might not go through this, depending on who they're tied to in the astral planes and their ancestors and everything. But I know karmically, I will have something to deal with as far as debt. It's probably minuscule. It's probably a little, because I bought these spiritual tools from Temu. But still, I'm going to obviously use them. I'm going to obviously cleanse them. I'm going to obviously transmute the energy back into love and talk to God about it and everything, because he already knows. But I'm just saying all this to say there are dharma and karmic paths with everything you choose in this life. And it's not necessarily, it can be not necessarily good or bad. Good or bad is a black and white thinking. It's a spectrum.